It's quite possible that tech sales might be the most popular career path in the world right now. It seems like everyone's trying to break in. It seems like every single job listing that you see on LinkedIn or the other popular job boards out there has 2,000 plus applicants, and it's honestly discouraging. It seems like it's almost impossible to break in. However, that's not the case. We're still seeing tons of our students at higherlevels.com break into not just any tech sales job, but the best companies in the world. And so today I want to break down how to find jobs with little to no competition and really stand out from the crowd doing simple things that the average person really doesn't even know or understand. Also, in addition, if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you some recent websites that have popped up that have honestly had some hidden gems that I hadn't seen before. But also, I do want to talk about LinkedIn as a very popular job board as well. Just to give you some reference, I've talked to several of our former students that are now SDR managers, and one in particular mentioned that they posted an SDR job on LinkedIn and there were literally over 2,000 applicants. So it's really easy to get discouraged when you see all these people easy applying, but to give you a point of reference, of the 2,000 people that applied, only 15 of those people even reached out to him in the first place. And of the 10 people that they decided to interview, all of them were from the group of 15 people that had even messaged the hiring manager in particular. So I want to be very clear, and we've been adamant about this on our channel. If you're breaking into tech sales, quite frankly, the bar is so low. There is so much dog shit out there with horrible applicants who don't even know what they're doing, that if you do the fundamentals of messaging a hiring manager, regardless of if it's on LinkedIn or some of the websites that I'm going to share with you later in this video, I still want to state that I think the easiest way to stand out and really make a name for yourself and get into these jobs as a front runner, not just another applicant, is regardless of where you find the listing and where you apply, message the hiring manager, message other people in the account, and try and break into that company just like a normal sales representative would in the first place. So let's dive into the ways that you can find these jobs with little to no competition. And while I know it seems like LinkedIn is overcrowded right now, I do just want to mention several ways that our students have been able to rig LinkedIn in their favor. And while ultimately the job listing did have 2,000 plus applicants at the end of the day, they were consistently able to be one of the first people to apply to this job. And I think that's what's so important as well. In addition to messaging hiring managers, like I mentioned, if you're one of the first 50 to 100 people to apply to the job, you are exponentially more likely to actually get an interview in the first place if you're the first batch in. The reality is, while a company would love to sit there and review 2,000 applications, as soon as they hit their criteria for finding maybe 15 to 20 qualified candidates for a first round interview, they're going to stop looking at all the other applications unless by some miracle all of those 20 people that they brought in for an interview suck, and I doubt that's going to happen. A great example of this was one of our students that broke into ZoomInfo. They actually set up alerts, and something that almost no one is doing on LinkedIn, when you can go into LinkedIn and actually set up the proper filters for if you're looking for an SDR job, set up an SDR job, especially if you can work in person. That's a huge advantage right now. So if you live in, I don't know, Austin, Texas, or New York, or San Francisco, and you're willing to work in the office, go in on LinkedIn and search for and set up a job alert specifically for an SDR job that fits your criteria, whether it's in person, whether it's with specific types of companies you want to filter down. So that way, as an example, whether it's remote or in person, the second that Amazon or Oracle or Salesforce posts a job that you're qualified for, you will get an alert directly to your inbox. And lastly, for context on LinkedIn specifically, what worked extremely well for our student is they had a very well-defined criteria in their search filter. They set up a job alert and they would wake up every single morning at 6 a.m. when they got those alerts, and immediately for the next hour, they would apply to every single job that was new on that job alert. And so again, there's no doubt LinkedIn is probably one of the more crowded places to apply, but there are still hidden gems by doing those small things correctly and really doing what others aren't willing to do, which is filter down by the job type that is really relevant to your experience and background, and also being willing to, as an example, which I don't think is a huge ask, wake up every morning at 6 a.m. so you can scan the new listings that popped up overnight and truly be one of the first 5 to 10 people to apply. But as promised, I do also want to briefly mention a few hidden gems that I found online that have jobs that aren't always on LinkedIn or maybe even posted before the LinkedIn job listing goes live. If you're looking specifically for remote-only sales jobs, Nodesk.co is a really great place that I found that not only are there companies that are hiring remote, which is obviously a perk, but I'm seeing some of the best brand names in the world. I've seen job listings there from HubSpot, from Ramp, from MongoDB. These are some of the biggest and fastest growing unicorn tech companies in the world. So it's not just a gimmicky site that's showing a few remote jobs here and there. It's actually got genuinely some of the best companies I've seen in the market right now hiring for remote-only jobs. The second one that I've seen, and I will say this one's gonna take a little bit of extra legwork for you because it's finding companies that are hiring any tech jobs, let alone sales, but stillhiring.today is another great website I found that has really great companies that are hiring. But again, you do need to click in and you do need to set up filters for sales jobs specifically. However, it does allow you to set up alerts as well. So I do think it's a great place to start and find, especially if you're looking to break into some of the biggest and best brands today, that is one reliably that I've seen that is consistently showing companies that are still hiring for sales representatives. Lastly, if you're like me and you really prefer a smaller, more agile and startup environment, startup.jobs is a really great place that I've found some pretty solid startups hiring for sales jobs. By the way, I might mention what I mentioned earlier on LinkedIn with all of the alerting capabilities. All of these websites also do allow you to subscribe to a newsletter and regular alerts. So what I would say again, if I was in your position of trying to find a new sales job right now, I would obviously not just sign up for alerts, but I would make sure I put the proper filtering in place so you get a highly curated list to your inbox. And then as you find out what time they send out these alerts every day, let's say stillhiring.today send you a random email every single day at 3:15 p.m. I'm gonna block my calendar for 30 to an hour every single day at 3:15. And the second I get that alert, I'm gonna make sure that I'm not only the first person applying to those new jobs that are open, but I'm also researching the manager, the sales manager, the recruiter, and I'm sending them a quick note that I applied and my interest in the job itself. And also I might add, if I missed any sites or you're finding any luck and want to share in the comments, like please feel free. I'm always open to new ideas, but I really want to be intentional about sharing things that I know for a fact have actually worked for people as opposed to the million job sites that are out there that I could send you. But again, I just want to reiterate, these are great hidden gems that the average person isn't watching. If you're watching this channel, you're doing more research than probably 90% of candidates in the first place. But just applying for a job, and I will say this again and again, is not enough. So whether you're finding this job on LinkedIn, whether you're using these websites to find different jobs that may not even be posted on LinkedIn, if you're not messaging the hiring manager or recruiter, you're wasting your time. So these are the simple things that I would do if I was starting again today. And just for reference too, if you're looking for in-depth coaching and guides on how to dominate every single step of the interview process, that's exactly what we do at higherlevels.com with our Tech Sales Ascension program. We've had over twice as many students this year alone break into market-leading tech companies compared to the previous 2 years combined, even when the economy's been down. And it's by doing these little things right every single step of the way. So whether you're looking for training or whether you got a lot out of this video, I'd love your feedback. Let me know if I can help in any way, shape, or form as you look to break into tech sales. But I appreciate your time. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.